Our next guest is in his first year as the head coach of the San Diego State Aztecs. I'm talking about Rocky Long. Coach Long, always a pleasure. How's your week going so far?
It's going all right. How you guys doing?
Doing well, Coach.
I'm doing very well. Now, although I love this schedule, and I honestly do love it, there's a part of me that misses BYU. As a guy who's been associated with the Mountain West Conference for so long, what were your feelings about saying goodbye to the Cougars?
Well, I was disappointed that both BYU and Utah were leaving the conference. And eventually TCU is going to leave the conference. I was disappointed because I thought with the addition of Boise State and Fresno State and Nevada and Hawaii, if those teams would have stayed in the league, I think that we would have been a BCS automatic berth league, and so that disappoints you.
Coach, do you think on the horizon, maybe in the next couple of years, we'll get BYU back on the schedule again?
Well, I don't know. I know they since they went independent, they were out hunting for games, and I know they're playing a lot of the former or current WAC teams. They've got a lot of those teams on their schedule. I could see us playing a home-and-home series with BYU somewhere down the road.
Hope so. Talking to Rocky Long, the Aztecs head coach. Now, I know when it comes to putting a schedule together, ADs are involved, associates, provosts, and presidents, and it has a lot to do with money, but how much of a voice do you have when it comes to putting together a schedule?
Well, you don't have any voice at all with the league schedule. I mean, they, with our league going to however many teams it's going to, there are times that we're not going to play somebody for a 2-year period, a home and home, and we have no say-so on that. We have no say-so on what time of year we play someone. We have no say-so on what time we play them because TV decides all that now. Most of the preseason games are scheduled way in advance, but if there is an opening, at least they ask my opinion on who I think we should play, but most of that stuff's done for the next 5-6 years.
Coach, I'm thinking about the NFL draft coming up this week, and I want to know how much will you actually pay attention, being that you have a couple of guys who can get drafted, and if that does happen for a guy like Vincent or DeMarco, will you give them a call? Will you try to stay in touch with them?
Oh, of course. Yeah, we will have it on the TV in the office now. I don't know how close we'll listen, but we'll hear as soon as everybody else if one of those two guys get drafted, and we think both of them are going to get drafted, which is really neat. And we'll call them and congratulate them, and then we'll keep track of how they do. And after they sign their second contract, we might get in touch with them and ask them to give a little money back to the program.
I hear that.
That's smart. As a coach, how early can you tell if one of your players has NFL talent? Can you tell when you recruit them? Do you need a couple years? At what point do you know if you're coaching a guy who has a future in the pros?
You can't tell. You think you know when you recruit them, but you can't really tell. You're going to probably 1 or 2 years in your program, you'll be able to tell if he has the physical ability to play at that level. But you won't know mentally if he can play at that level until probably his 4th or 5th year.
Coach, how do you treat players fairly? You have a couple of guys in your team coming up this year like Miles Burris or Ryan Lindley who have great opportunities to play in the NFL then in the next level, but how do you treat them fairly compared to a senior like that and let's say a redshirt freshman or redshirt sophomore so that the team doesn't have any type of inner turmoil?
Well, let's be honest here. We don't treat our freshmen the same way we do we do seniors.
Right.
Our seniors are held in high esteem, and they've put the work in for 4 or 5 years. They're treated with a lot more respect and treated a lot nicer than a new freshman. A new freshman's going to catch it from all ends, so they're not treated fairly. Now, if they're all players, probably our travel squad, they're treated as fairly as possible.
Talking to Aztecs head coach Rocky Long. Coach, the announcement today, the Sky Show will coincide with the Washington State game. I know you're focused on football, but have you ever had a chance to watch the show after the game when it's Sky Show night?
Well, I've actually seen part of the show because after games we end up in the parking lot for a little while, so I've watched the show a little bit from the parking lot, and I'll tell you what, it's unbelievable. It's really neat. You guys at Clear Channel do a great job with that. I think the biggest thing this year about it is who we're playing, with playing a Pac-10 team and being at home and the Sky Show. I mean, we ought to get a big crowd because it ought to be a lot of fun. The game ought to be a lot of fun, and then the Sky Show is always super.
Coach, what's going on with you right now? I don't know if this is actually a recruiting time for you. Can you contact some high school guys? What's your day-to-day like at this point?
Well, I'm in the office, and all the other coaches are out on the road doing evaluation. So we have a 4-week period that they can evaluate the juniors that are going to be seniors next year coming up, and we can actually call them in this time period. We can actually call them once.
Okay.
So the guys that we know that we're going to offer scholarships to, I'll actually call them. The ones that we're not sure of yet, the assistant coaches call them. So, but for the next, we've been out on the road. This is our second week on the road. All the coaches will be back in next week for the whole week, and then they go out for 2 more weeks. So now I'm actually making some recruiting calls too, but the different kinds of people that might be able to help the program.
Okay. And one of the bigger things I remember from high school is you look at a letter, and is it hand print, is it hand signed by the coach, or is it a stamp type of sign? Do you have any recruits out there who you want so badly that you're actually hand signing it yourself, the letters?
Well, I'll tell you, we do one better than that. We when we get our list together, which will be the end of May, first part of June, we'll know the guys we want really bad, and then we make a list of those guys. It's usually up to 40 guys, and then we take turns as coaches. With me and 9 assistants, there are 10 of us coaches, so we take 4 or 5 guys each, and each week we write them a handwritten note. Now, we change the 5 guys that we're writing to every week all through the summer, but we write them a handwritten note, and they get one of those every week.
Yeah, it makes a difference. It makes a difference.
Rocky Long getting ready for his first season as the Aztecs head coach. I've heard plenty of theories on this next topic, but how a basketball program can help a football program. Hoops, ranked in the top 10, Sweet 16, all that exposure. Can it help you on the football field in any way?
You know what? I don't think it necessarily helps you on the field. I think a real good football program can lead into helping a basketball program, and I think a great basketball program, obviously, since this is evaluation time and it's during recruiting, when you have a good basketball team right during recruiting season, it really helps your recruiting process. So I think if you have a good football team, it helps the basketball team, and if you have a good basketball team, it helps the football team.
Absolutely, Coach. It's always great to have you on the show. We're wishing you guys the best this season. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.